Hey Math 4, how you guys doing? So what we're gonna do today is go over kind of more notes for 4.1. You guys are gonna be finding lots of volume, lots of surface areas. Okay, so we're gonna go over kind of one of every shape. A lot of what's gonna be on your homework. So hopefully this will help out a lot with your homework. Okay. So I already gave you guys all the formulas. Hopefully you have those all on one page. Okay. So here we have a box of some sort. Okay, the first thing we're going to want to do is find the volume. Remember, volume of a box or cube or whatever it's going to be is going to be base times width times height. Alright, I don't know why I did base times height times width, but it doesn't really matter what order they're in. Alright, so I'm giving you these three dimensions right there. Really, all you got to do is multiply them all together. So for volume, which is why volume is going to be three-dimensional. Okay, you have basically 2D would be like a flat board, right? You have a base and you have a height. All right, now we got three dimensions and we have depth to it as well. All right, so we have base is going to be 8 centimeters. Okay, we have our height, which is going to be 10 centimeters. And we have our width, which is going to be 6 centimeters. Okay, you really just multiply all these guys together. 8 times 10 times 6. 8 times 6 is 48. Times 10 is actually going to be 480. Okay, I'm going to be very concerned about your units though, alright? Really, centimeters times centimeters times centimeters, isn't that just centimeters cubed? Okay, so 480 cubic centimeters is another way you could read that. But anyways, this is going to be about the easiest volume you're ever going to have to find for me. Let's talk about surface area. That one's going to be a little bit harder. Okay, so for surface area, we actually have 6 sides to this box. Okay, we have a front and a back, which are going to be the same. We have a right side and we have a left side, which are going to be the same. And we have a top and we have a bottom that are all going to be the same. Okay, so maybe you want to write that down. You got right and left. Okay, you're going to add that to top and bottom. And you're going to add that to the right, left, top, bottom, front and back. That's what I'm missing there. Okay, so we're really just going to add all those guys up. So if we start with the right and the left. Okay, so this is my right side here. The shape of the right side is just a rectangle. Okay, the area of a rectangle then is just base times height. So this is going to be 6 times 10. So 6 centimeters times 10 centimeters. Okay, and that would just give me the right side. The left side is actually going to be the exact same. So you can kind of cheat a little bit and just say, hey, it's going to be 2 times that. And that will take care of your right and your left side at the same time. We're then going to find the top and the bottom. Alright, so my top. This also makes a rectangle. Okay. This top is the same as the bottom here. Okay, so this side is going to be 8 centimeters. This side here is going to be 6 centimeters. Okay, so this is just going to be 8 centimeters times 6 centimeters. And that would just give me my top, but I want top and bottom, so we're going to do 2 times that. Okay. Alright, then we're going to do the front and the back. So the front is going to be this rectangle, which is really 8. Okay, my height is going to be 10. So we're going to do plus 8 centimeters times 10 centimeters. And then we're going to take all that times 2. Okay, now you guys could just type this all into your calculator because this is a calculator chapter. I'm just going to multiply it out because it's not that bad. So 6 times 2 is 12, times 10 is going to be 120. So you guys should get 120 from this one. Centimeters times centimeters is going to be centimeters squared. Okay, over here we got 48 times 2 is going to be a 96. Centimeters times centimeters is centimeters squared. And then here you got 8 times 2 is 16 times 10 is going to be 160. Centimeters times centimeters is centimeters squared. Okay, now these are all like terms because they're all centimeters squared, just like if they're all x squared. So we can just add them all up and we're still just going to have centimeters squared. Okay, so we add those all up. I'm going to type this into a calculator so I don't screw it up. Okay, so we got 120 plus 96 plus 160. So 376 centimeters squared is going to be your surface area. Alright, hopefully that's not too bad. Alright, you just got to figure out how to break it down to different areas that you do know how to find, and then you just add them all up. It's going to be the kind of the same process every time. Alright, I'm just going to make some room here. The next one we have here is a cylinder, so it'd be like a can of pop or something. Okay, so volume's not going to be too bad to find. Volume is just really going to be the area of your base times your height. It's really what you're doing over here on your box, right? You found the area of your base and you multiplied it by your height. However, this is not a square base or rectangular base. The base is actually going to be a circle. Okay, so to find the volume of a cylinder, what we're going to do is we're going to take the area of the base, which is pi r squared, and we're going to multiply that by our height. Okay? So my volume in this case is going to be pi. My radius is 2 feet. We're going to square that and multiply it by our height, which is 6 feet. Alright, so 2 squared is actually going to be 4. So we got pi. 4 feet squared, because you distribute this to both things, right? You get 4 feet squared times 6 feet, which is going to give us 24 pi, because 6 times 4 is 24. We have our pi here, and then feet squared times feet is going to make feet cubed. Okay, you could leave it as 24 pi feet cubed, or you could type that into your calculator. Don't use 3.14 though, actually use the exact value of pi, so use your pi button in your calculator. So 24 pi is going to give me 75.398 feet cubed. Alright, so that wasn't too bad, hopefully. Next thing I'm going to have you guys do is find the surface area. Okay, so to find the surface area of a cylinder, understand we really have 3 sides to this thing. We got a top, which is a circle. We got the bottom, which is also the same circle. And then we have the side, which is going to be a rectangle, and I'll show you that in a second. So for surface area of a cylinder, this is going to be pi r squared, which is the top. The bottom is going to be the same, so instead of doing it twice, we just multiply that by 2. Okay, and I'm going to add that to my side. Now guys, so if you got a cylinder, okay, it's going to look kind of, let's see how this works on the video. Okay, so you got the cylinder right here, circular on top. If you made a slice down the side and unrolled it, it would make a rectangle. Okay, so now the height of that rectangle is just going to be the height of your cylinder here. The base of that rectangle would be like the outside of a circle, which is going to be the circumference. Okay, so there's a reason I had you guys remember what the formula for circumference was. So this is going to be our height, right? The height of that rectangle. And then if we sliced it and unrolled it, the base is really going to be circumference. Circumference, remember, is 2 pi r. Okay? So now we can just figure out what our radius is, what our height is, and then you can just type it all into a calculator and you'll be good to go. So my surface area on this one is 2 pi. My radius here is going to be 2 feet. I'm going to take 2 feet and square that guy there. Okay, and I'm going to add that to my side, right? So this is top and bottom. This is my side. I'm going to add that, so my height is going to be 6 feet. Multiplied by 2 pi times r, and once again r is going to be 2 feet. Okay? So, when I multiply this guy all out, I've got 2 squared is going to be 4 here. 4 times 2 makes 8 pi, and then remember we have feet squared. Hopefully that's not too much in one step for you. Okay, we're just squaring all of this, giving us 4 feet squared times 2 pi, giving us 8 pi feet squared. Over here we've got 2 times 2 is 4, times 6 is going to give me 24. We have pi, feet times feet is feet squared. Okay, these are the same units, we can add them up. You guys, you can type this all into your calculator as soon as you know everything, or you could kind of reduce it a little bit. Okay, then you have less to type into your calculator. 8 pi feet squared plus 24 pi feet squared makes 32 pi feet squared. Okay, so you could leave that as your answer, or you could type it all into your calculator. So we got 32. Pi is going to give us 100.5309, which needs to round to 0.531 feet squared. So remember, guys, we're always going to round to 3 decimals, unless we're talking about money, because then we just round to 2, because remember, it makes sense. Alright, so it looks like I used up all my space. We're going to move on to this one next, which, guys, these are progressively getting a little bit trickier as we go. Okay, luckily you do have it in video format, so you can go rewatch this if you need to. Remember, let me know if you got questions. I'll try to answer the questions the best I can for you. Alright, so let's talk about this pyramid looking thing. So volume isn't going to be too bad. Okay? Volume is going to be 1/3 base times width times height. So our height, we want to use the actual height here, which is 8 inches. So now on the pyramid, when I give you a diagonal height versus a height, okay, imagine this thing being 3-dimensional, right? So from your base straight up would be your height. Your diagonal height would be like, this is on kind of a tilt here, right? So that diagonal height is going to be a little bit longer than the actual height. We're going to want to use the diagonal height when we're doing surface area. We're going to use the actual height here when we're doing volume. So, let's talk about volume. Volume, I said, is going to be 1/3 base times width times height. Okay, so here my base and my width are both going to be 10. So we're going to get 1/3, 10 times 10 times my height, which will be 8. So we got 1/3, my base is 10 inches, my width is 10 inches, my height is going to be 8 inches. Okay, so we can multiply these all together. 10 times 10 is going to be 100, times 8 is going to be 800, divided by 3 is 800 over 3. Inches times inches times inches. So guys, anytime we're talking about volume, your units better be cubed. Anytime we're talking about area, your units better be squared. So at this point, you just type that into your calculator, see what 800 divided by 3 is. Looks like 266.667 inches cubed. Alright, hopefully that's not too bad. Next we're going to do surface area, which is a little bit trickier. So, surface area. Understand we have this base, and then we really have 4 sides to this pyramid. Okay, so we're going to want to figure those all out. We're going to have our base, or our bottom, plus 4 sides. And in this case, all of my sides are going to be the same, because my bases are all 10. Okay, my diagonal heights are always going to be 1 foot here. which is going to be something you guys got to pay attention to. We want all of our units to be the same. Okay, you don't want to have inches squared times feet or something funky like that. So you guys all know that 1 foot is 12 inches. So we're going to actually want to use a measurement of 12 inches in this case. My base is just a square. It's 10 times 10. So that's 10 inches times 10 inches. Plus, since all four of my sides happen to be the same here, I can take 4. And these sides are all triangles. Okay, the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Okay, my base is going to be 10. My height is going to be my diagonal height now, which is going to be 12. So this is going to be 10 inches. Height is going to be 12 inches. Alright, so you guys can just multiply these all together. 10 inches times 10 inches is 100 inches squared. Over here we've got 10 times 12 is 120. 4 divided by 2 is going to be 2, so 120 times 2 is 240. Remember, you guys can just always type this straight into your calculator and not really have to think about it. I just don't want to type everything to a calculator, I guess, but we should get 340 inches squared. Comes out to a nice number. Okay. Well, those were fun, but we have a lot more to do. Hopefully you guys are all jazzed up about it. Yeah. Woo! Guys, I feel like I'm crazy talking to myself here at home. Losing my mind a little bit. Oh, let's see. Oh, we got D here. We're going to do a cone. Okay, the cone, we're going to say this is 2 yards. Oh, we'll give you this side is 5 feet. Okay, we'll do a sphere. I'm just going to tell you the circumference. It's going to be 44 pi inches. I'll also tell you the formula for surface area is going to be 4 pi r squared. Then we'll save this last crazy one we'll save that guy for a minute. Yeah, so on the cone, I'm just going to ask you to find the volume. I'm never going to ask to find the surface area of a cone. It's some crazy formula. You can look it up and use it if you ever need to. Okay, I'm more concerned, do you know how to find the volume of a cone? Okay, so it's going to be pretty much the same thing as the pyramid that we just did. Okay, you're going to find the area, or I'm sorry, not the area, the volume of the cylinder, and then you're just going to take 1/3 of it. Okay, so our volume is going to be 1/3. Volume of a cylinder is you're going to take your area of your base times your height. Okay, the area of our base is a circle, so that's going to be pi r squared times my height. This one I made as tricky as I could for you. I have yards. I gave you the whole distance across here, which we don't want. That's not the radius. Radius is going to be half that, right? I also gave you this diagonal height here. We want the actual height of the cone. Guys, so there's going to be a couple things we're going to figure out. First of all, let's just change everything to feet. So instead of 2 yards, well, 1 yard is 3 feet, so that means 2 yards is going to be 6 feet. So let's just change that guy right away. So that's going to be 6 feet, which means my radius is going to be half that, which is going to be 3 feet. Okay? Now guys, what we have here is we need to find the heights. This makes a right triangle, if you were to think about it that way. So we can ask our friend Pythagoras, because he always knows. Make a right triangle here. Okay, I know this side is 3 feet. My hypotenuse here is 5 feet. Your hypotenuse is always opposite of your right angle there. and I want to find my heights. Okay, so remember, it doesn't matter quite how you set this up as long as your hypotenuse is the one by itself. So we're going to have 3 squared plus h squared is going to equal 5 squared, which means 9 plus h squared equals 25. H squared is going to equal minus 9 on both sides. We get 16. We square root both sides. Now, guys, you don't need the plus or minus here just because a negative height isn't going to make any sense in this problem. Okay? So it's just going to equal positive 4. My units all here were feet. Okay? So my height I'm going to be using is 4 feet. The radius I'm using is going to be 3 feet. Okay, like I said, I tried to make that one about as tricky as I could here. I don't think the one on your homework is quite that bad. Maybe it is, I don't remember. You guys will, if you can handle this one, you'll be able to handle anything, I think. So we got 1/3, we got pi. Radius is going to be 3 feet. We're going to square that, we're going to multiply it by our height, which is 4 feet. Yeah, you can type this all into your calculator. I'm going to reduce it down a little bit before I type it in. So it's going to be 9 times 4 divided by 3 times pi, and my units are going to be feet cubed. Okay, so if I multiply that all together, I'm going to end up with 9 times 4 is 36 divided by 3. It's going to be 12. So my volume is going to be 12 pi feet cubed. Okay, you can type that into your calculator. Okay, giving us 37.699. Okay, and that will be feet cubed. Alright, that was fun. Now let's move on to the sphere. I like saying sphere. It's fun to say. Okay, so we're going to have to find volume and surface area, guys. I don't expect you to remember surface area. I do remember, or do expect you to remember the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. Surface area of a sphere is going to be 4 pi r squared. I think I'm going to give that to you every single time I ask you for surface area of a sphere. Which is great, alright? We have volume, we have surface area formula. But in both these formulas, we need the radius, and I didn't give you the radius because I'm a mean jerk. Alright? I gave you circumference. So, how is that useful? Well, you guys know your circumference formula is really 2 pi r. So we know that circumference is 2 pi r. So we can set that equal to 44 pi inches. Now if I want to solve for r, I would divide both sides by 2 pi. Divide by 2 pi, divide by 2 pi. What happens is r is going to equal, my pi's cancel, 44 divided by 2 is going to be 22. And I still have my units here, which are in inches. Okay, so now you just plug 22 into your formulas, type it in your calculator, and you're all done. It's that easy, alright? So for volume, we're going to get volume equals 4/3 pi times 22 cubed. Okay, and then for surface area, we're going to get 4 pi times 22 squared. Alright, now just give me a second while I type this into my calculator, and we'll see what we end up with. Okay, so for volume, we get a larger number here, which is 44,602.238. Okay, my units, remember, this is volume, so they better be cubed. My units were in inches, so this is going to be inches cubed. 3 dimensions for volume. Surface area, let me type this one in. Okay, this one's going to be 6,082.123 Surface area is two-dimensional. I know this is a three-dimensional shape, but think if you're like painting it, okay, how much surface area is it going to be covering? You would need to cover 6,082.123. My units would be inches cubed, or inches squared, I misspoke. All right. That was a lot of fun. I think most of you guys will do all right with a lot of these. I'll have some kind of homework help for you guys. The next one is the one that's a little bit more complicated. Okay, we're going to do a prism. Not prism, a prism. Okay? So we're going to have to find volume and surface area of a prism. Now guys, what is a prism? Basically, it's a three-dimensional trapezoid thing. Okay, the base is going to be a trapezoid, and you're just going to have a height to it as well. So, this crazy shape. Okay, that's going to be the top of it. I'm going to make it, I don't want to make it that tall. Have fun drawing these. Alright, so it's really got this back base to it too. Okay, hopefully you can kind of see what we've got going here. It's not the best picture, it looks a little lopsided. It's good enough though. Alright, so you're going to have lots of different measurements given to you on these. You're going to have like this front side. We'll say that's going to be 8 centimeters. You're going to know this side. That will be 3 centimeters in this time. This one will say is 4 centimeters. You're also going to be knowing your heights. We'll go with just a simple 10 centimeters. And the other measurement you're going to need to know is, okay, this height. Okay, so it's going to be like the top. How far back does it go? We'll say it goes back 2 centimeters this time. Okay, I know it's not drawn to a great scale. Alright, but hopefully you get the idea of what's happening here. Alright, so volume isn't going to be that bad. What you guys are going to need to do is find, just like for a box or a cylinder, you're going to find the area of the base and you're going to multiply it by your height. Okay? The only thing now is our base is a trapezoid. So hopefully you guys remember what the area of a trapezoid is. So a trapezoid is going to be 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times our height. Okay? So what we've got here is going to be 1/2. Base 1 is going to be, alright, so my trapezoid here is 8. I forgot to give you one more measurement then. So you're also going to know this back side. Like I said, lots of different measurements going on here. We'll say that guy's 12 centimeters. Okay? So this is going to be our base 1. This would be our base 2. 8 plus 12 times my height for this trapezoid is 2. Okay, hopefully you guys see that, and then we're going to multiply it by our actual height, which is 10. Alright? So really what we're doing is we're finding this area, which is a trapezoid. 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 multiplied by my height, which is 2. Okay? I then am going to multiply it by the height of this prism, which is going to be 10. So we can just figure out what all this is. My 1/2 and 2 are going to cancel. Once again, guys, you can just type this all into your calculator. 8 plus 12 is going to be 20 times 10, so it should be 200. That comes out nicely. Centimeters. Now my units are three-dimensional. This is volume, so they need to be cubed, just like volume is always going to be cubed every single time. Okay? So let's find surface area. Guys, these are just a bunch of rectangles and then 2 trapezoids. And we're just going to add up all the areas together. Okay, the only hard thing is keeping track of which sides you have done and which ones you haven't done yet. So top and bottom, these are going to be trapezoids. Okay, now keep in mind my front side is not the same as my back side now. Okay, remember when we're doing cubes or boxes, the front side would be the same as the back side. So I'm going to do my front. I'm going to add that to the back. And same thing for the right and the left side. These are not going to be the same as each other. They could be, but they're not necessarily going to be. And here I know my base is 3 and my base is 4, so these are definitely not going to be the same this time. Okay? So you still have, what was that, 6 sides yet? Right, left, front, back, top, bottom. It's still 6 sides. They're just not all going to be matching up with each other. They're not all going to be the same. The ones that are going to be the same are going to be the top and bottom, which is a trapezoid. So let's begin there. So the surface area of a prism, my top and bottom. All right, so let's figure this out. It's going to be 1/2. Base 1 is 8, plus base 2 is 12, times my height, which is 2. Okay? That's just the area of the top. My top and bottom are the same, so I could just multiply that all by 2, and that gives me my top and my bottom. Let's talk about the front. So this one's going to be my front side. It is just a rectangle. My base is 8, my height is 10, so it's going to be plus 8 times 10. My back side, the base is a little bit longer. The base is actually going to be 12. The height is still 10, so the back side is going to be 12 times 10. My right side, once again, is a rectangle here. Okay. My base is 3, my height is 10, so it's going to be 3 times 10. My left side over here, once again, just a rectangle. My base is 4, my height is 10. 4 times 10 is going to give me the area of the left side. Okay, so now you can just type this all into your calculator, add them up, see what we get. You could reduce this a little bit if you wanted to. 2 times 1/2 goes away. 20 times 2 is 40, plus 80, plus 120, plus 30, plus 40. Okay. 200, 70, and 40 is going to be 110. So that should be 310. All right, my units, remember, are going to be centimeters. And we're talking about area, surface area, so it's got to be squared. 310 centimeters squared. All right, we'll probably do another one of those at some point, just because I know you guys really struggle with these, at least since students have in the past. All right, you guys had enough with 3-dimensional shapes. You just want to stick to some 2-dimensional now. I just got 3 more problems for you. You should be able to do most of your homework then. Okay, I'm not going over every single problem on your homework because I do want you to see what you can figure out on your own a little bit. All right, but then if you got questions, I'll help you go over them. I do want to see what you guys can do on your own too. So, we're going to have a bunch of circles and squares. So we're going to find area of shady region. Okay, so this is a square with a circle on the inside of it. Okay, the shady region is going to be this little part in all 4 corners. All right, all I'm going to tell you is that is 12 centimeters. Okay, that's going to be problem A. Problem B here is going to be a circle with a square on the inside of it. I know that does not look like a square, but that is supposed to be a square. Oh, I can make that a little bit better. Ah, it looks square. That looks really bad on there. Alright, I'm gonna call that quits. That's about as good as I can do here. Okay, a circle or a square inside of a circle. And our next one's gonna be two circles, all inside of a third circle. So these end up touching down there. Alright. Okay, and I didn't color this in, but that's going to be your shady region. Guys, we're going to have to just use some different tricks along the way to figure these guys all out. Oh, let's talk about this side is going to be 6 inches. This side is also going to be 6 inches. Over here, I'm going to let you know this radius is going to be 3 inches. Okay. Cool. So, let's get about doing these. So guys, if we want to find the shady region, what you want to do is find the area of your big shape and then subtract the area of your little shape. So in this problem, I want to find the area of a square. And I'm going to subtract the area of a circle. Now the square is easy because my base is 12, my height's 12. It's just going to be 12 squared. Okay, and then we're going to minus the area of the circle. Well, the area of the circle is pi r squared. But what is the radius? So if we know this whole distance is really 12, wouldn't that mean my radius is going to be 6? What are these, centimeters? Okay. So we're going to take 12 squared for our area of a square, and then we're going to subtract pi r squared, where r is going to be 6. Okay? So in your calculator, you can just type 144 minus 6 squared is going to be 36. So 36 pi. We can type that in and see what we get. Okay, we should come out to 30.9026, which will round up to 30.903. Okay, my units here, this is two-dimensional. We're going to say centimeters squared. All right, that wasn't too bad. The next one's a little bit trickier. So, over here, what we have is the circles on the outside. So what you want to do is find the area of your circle and then subtract the area of your square. Okay, now the area of the square is going to be your easy one to find here. You know that the base of the square is 6, the height is going to be 6. So, I don't know why I said equals, it's going to be minus 6 squared, or minus 36. Okay? Now, the hard thing to do is figure out what is the radius of the circle going to be. Okay? Well, we need to ask our friend Pythagoras again because he always knows how to find these things. Okay, so we're going to set up a right triangle. Okay, so that's going to be 6 inches. We know this is 6 inches. Now guys, this is my hypotenuse. It's my long side. So 6 squared plus 6 squared is going to equal hypotenuse squared. 36 plus 36 equals h squared. 36 plus 36 is 72. That's going to equal h squared, so h is going to equal the square root of 72. Now you don't actually have to reduce this for me because you do have a calculator. Okay? So I can type that into my calculator. Oops. I'm struggling here. 72 square rooted. Here we go. Alright. So this is actually going to be about 8.4852 or whatever. Alright, but we don't actually want that because that would be the hypotenuse, which is the diameter of our circle. we want the radius of our circle, which is going to be half of that. So we're just going to divide that number by 2, giving me a radius of 4.24264. Now guys, use all of your decimals when you're doing your calculations. You only have to round to 3 decimals on your answer, but you want to use all of the decimals for your calculations, because if you round a rounded number, the more calculations you do, the further away from the exact answer you're going to get. So for area of a circle, it's just going to be pi r squared, but r is going to be about 4.242. We're going to square that number. Now don't type this number in your calculator and square it. You have this number already in your calculator. Square all of those decimals with it. Okay, then multiply it by pi, and then we're going to subtract 36 because 6 squared. Okay, so you should get an answer of 20.5486, which is going to round to 0.549. My units here are going to be inches squared. Okay? This last one. You got a big circle, and you got 2 circles stacked on top of each other that you're going to be subtracting off of it. Okay, I'm only saying right here the radius of one of these small circles is going to be 3 inches. Okay? So what you really want to do is take the area of your big circle, and you're going to subtract off the area of your 2 little circles. Okay, now the 2 areas of these little circles are going to be the same. So you could subtract it off twice, or you could minus 2 area of your little circle. So to find the area of our big circle, you need pi r squared. What is the radius of the big circle? Well, if the radius of a little circle is 3 inches, wouldn't that mean this is 3 inches and that's another 3 inches? So this distance here would be 6 inches, which would be the radius of the big circle. So we got pi times r squared, radius of the big circle is 6. We're going to square that guy, minus 2 pi times the area of a little circle, or I'm sorry, the radius of the little circle, which is going to be 3. Okay, so this was really pi r squared minus 2, since we have 2 little circles, 2 pi little r squared. Alright, hopefully that kind of makes sense. This is going to end up giving you 36 pi minus 3 squared is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 36 pi times 18 pi is going to give you 18 pi. Okay, you can just type that into your calculator. See what we get out here. 56.5486, which is going to round up to a 9. Well, it's like the same decimals as we had over here. Okay, my units are going to be inches squared. And that is going to be your answer. Alright, you guys do your best with this. I'll be here to help you. Okay? This is some harder stuff, hopefully. But this is more real life stuff. Okay? Honestly, you're going to use math a lot of times in your life to figure out kind of areas and volumes and that sort of stuff more than you would the quadratic formula. So, good luck to you all. Hope you're all doing good.